Good morning. Welcome to the, what month is it? May community update. And I'm so glad to see you all here. I know it's a really, really busy time on JBLM, and so taking some time to come to the community update, and of course a packed agenda here as we roll into the summer season, and so many things going on the installation. Before I got too far, well, I guess I should start with, I'm Colonel Nicole Lucas. I'm the Garrison commander here on JBLM. And again, glad to see you all here this morning. Before we get into the meat of it, I do want to start like we always do with a recognition. This is a pretty neat one this morning. I'll have you guys come up, please. So it's and I've got a little help here to do some of the talking because I had my eyes dilated this morning, which sounded like a great idea, except I can't read my notes. But this is a really neat and a kind of perfect recognition to do right here at the community update. A really neat thing for our Army. It's an IMCOM G9 award, Army sponsored, and I'm going to hand it over to Josh here to talk a little bit about why we have Sergeant Custodio up here with us this morning.
So this is very cool. Sergeant Custodio actually won this award when he was stationed at Fort Knox. He wasn't able to attend the AUSA conference, so we're able to recognize all of his hard work and his efforts as the 2018 Coach of the Year. In order to get this award, he's had to do a lot of really great things. Not only did he coach 2 teams to separate world championships, one of them going undefeated in the tournament, but he also volunteered a ton in the community. He helped coordinate the first annual Sharp Walk, which was almost over 7,000 miles by participants of the Fort Knox community. So he's done a lot of tremendous things for his community, and again, we're grateful to have the opportunity to present this award here at JBLM.
One more round of applause. All right, and then over to you, sir, and then Colonel Stainpine.
Okay, sure. So first off to the Garrison, probably saw a lot of fire trucks, ambulances moving around. Yeah, Garrison just went through its full-scale exercise and did an amazing job.
Do you have one?
They really did. So kudos to the leadership team for making the training very, very difficult. And it was expertly done. I know we got a good look at ourselves and learned these things that we need to sustain and these things we need to continue to work on. So again, from General Valesky and the entire First Corps team, I want to thank the Garrison for the amazing job. Round of applause for all of them who worked hard at that. So it is May, and PCS season has begun. And so I'd like to introduce on the Corps staff, you know, we have the American Deputy Commanding General. We've got a Canadian Deputy Commanding General. So Brigadier General Bovon, just, if I even pronounce that even close to how it's supposed to be done, and I'm sure I'm going to get a redo at that, has arrived coming from Quebec, and I'd like to introduce to you his wife, and I'll make sure I get this correct, is Sylvie, and I'm going to get your name, Lacaus. Did I get that right? All right. Coming to us from Quebec, and so just a big warm welcome. I will work on my French pronunciation. I can't even say I had my eyes dilated so I can read my notes, so I've got no crutches here. So why we brought up the PCS season is I got a note from the Director of the Army Staff last night, and he sent it out to all of the senior leaders in the Army, and it's in reference to the Army's performance at moving household goods. The senior leaders have heard your feedback loud and clear that we aren't nearly as good as we need to be. We can attest to that, okay? So through the chain of command, there'll be a series of command information briefs that'll come out. Talked to General Valesky this morning. The expectation is that the unit change of command, take that information and get that out to your soldiers. Now, we're just going to work certainly closely with the Garrison and the transportation coordinators here. But the big message I want you to take back to your formations today is we've heard from soldiers and their families loud and clear that we got to get better at moving your household goods. You'll see some of that action, what we've actually started to do and what we will continue to do. And it'll come down through the chain of command, and we'll work closely with Garrison for that. Nicole, you want to add any amplifying information to that? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hey, good morning from the Airlift Wing. I also want to echo our thanks and appreciation to the Garrison for that excellent exercise last week. We learned a lot about ourselves too, and so great to get that kind of feedback. And we're just incredibly impressed too at your effort, your expertise, and can't say enough about how well that went for us. The second thing is, for us, exciting. We're about 30 to 45 days from our runway opening back up, so that's huge for the wing. That means our units that have been displaced all over the West Coast will get to come home for the summer just in time for an incredibly high ops tempo throughout the summer. So that's what the forecast looks like for the wing, but nonetheless our crews will be really happy to be back home and operating out of home station. Thanks again for all you guys do. Appreciate it.
Gave you the mic premature. Well, thanks for the compliments. I think we should do a full-scale exercise every month. Just kidding. And I can assure you that the 16th Cab and the other residents of Gray Army Airfield are ecstatic to hear that all is on track with the McChord runway as well. We do have two, if you go to the next slide, please, or do I have the flipper? Oh. We have two hot topics we're going to cover. As always, construction is good. Remember that. Construction means that we're doing, that the future of JBLM is solid, and we're getting money to be able to invest in places where we really sorely need the work done. And also, once the sun comes out, it's also the time that Mr. Perrineau's team gets out and continues to make improvements to the installation. So we're going to cover this in some detail here this morning.
Thank you, ma'am. I've got 6 quick slides. This is a reviewing stand for all the changes of command of battalion and above. It was built in the 1970s. It's fallen apart. It's already under demolition through the 24th of May. Should not impact traffic very much if you're in that area. At worst, it will have 1 lane closed. Next slide, please. If you live in Beechwood housing, this is the main drag that goes through. That's American Lake. There's a small section that has some really bad potholes that's going to be closed for starting today. 1 lane will be open most of the time, but if it's closed twice, you can just see the routes. You just use Milwaukee or Montgomery to go around the neighborhood. Again, it's only for a week. Next slide, please. Red Cross, this is a Garrison headquarters right here, Red Cross. This road here is going to be taken out. It's concrete. It's the roots of the trees have uprooted everything, and that'll start at the end of this week. Next slide, please. Traffic is like water, takes the path of least resistance. This has been closed due to exercise since the 18th of March. It goes through the 15th of May. If you use that area, you already have found the routes to take, so this is just a reminder. It's going for another 2 weeks. Next slide, please. Fire station, again, right next to the Red Cross and Garrison headquarters. The pavement's been failing. They've been closing 1 lane to 2 lanes on a very temporary basis. It should be done, but it's going to be have a minor impact until the 8th of June. Next slide, please. Delta Block, built temporarily in 1940s. They're 75 years old, approaching 80 years old. They were supposed to start demo today, but they were lacking 1 permit, so in the next day or 2, they're going to remove 112 buildings. So if you ever have any attachment to those facilities, you need to go see them for the last time they're coming down. And these are the routes that you'll see a lot of trucks all the way through January, February next year. I think that's my last slide. Next slide. Yep. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to give you an update on the military spouse priority placement program. This is a program that's been around for around 30 years now, but we did have some changes recently, so we wanted to update those changes. The most significant change is that it's actually a lot easier and more streamlined for spouses. Instead of having to actually register with your local CPAC and work and have them tell you based on your credentials and your resume where you actually fall and what you can apply for, you can actually go onto USA Jobs just like any other applicant, and you're going to fill out the self-certification checklist. You're going to update all of your normal things you would have had to do in the past with your marriage certificate, the PCS orders. You do have to be in the location with your military spouse, but other than that, any job that you feel that you're best qualified for, you just target your resume to that position, upload those documents with the self-certification checklist, and you'll go through the process just like anyone else. And if you want any assistance with that, if you're familiar with Hawk Transition Center, we do have the Employment Readiness Program specifically just to work with military spouses. You can go onto the DPFR Timetable website and you can make an appointment to see those folks, or you can just come down to Hawk anytime. We have several counselors available. Do we have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Sir, team. Colonel Tom Bunt, Commander, Madigan Army Medical Center. Next slide, please. Got some updates for retiree appreciation. This is a very, very significant event, very large event. A lot of folks come from all over. Let me tell you something. If the RV lots you think are full now, okay, all right, to all you RV owners out there, make way, all right, because the train is coming. And when they come a demanding, which is good because they give us some great feedback. So based on that, we've come up with some new topics and new elements for them to work on, and of course, some prevention techniques that hopefully will work well into our future. You don't often hear sexy things about fiber, but we thought we'd throw it up on there just for grins and giggles, see if we can get your attention. As well as fall prevention. You'd be surprised, you might laugh, you'd be surprised at how often this is an issue with this particular population. Those of us who have parents or aged relatives or are maybe getting there ourselves, if we're passing half a century, you fall the wrong way, you break your hip. That road to recovery is long and painful. So please pay close attention to these types of things and promote them in the community. Next slide, please. We have other elements on here for TRICARE for Life, TRICARE Plus. You probably already know that there's a lot of questions on TRICARE. There's a lot of changes to the program, so this adds a lot of information that they may not have already had. We got survivor outreaches, we got booths, we got things like that set up all over, and I've also had the VA come visit with me to talk specifically about how important this day is. It is a really big deal, and we get a lot of support for this. And then lastly, of course, we go over the MyPay with them and the Social Security benefits elements. This is open to pretty much all folks who are through there. They get their bags. They're hoping to get some little squeezy toys and gifts, but at the same time, get some good education and get some information that'll help them with their lives. Next slide. And boom. Okay, so this is, we heard you. We've given this feedback up to the corporate. The corporate and I and many of our teammates have gone round and round in the ring with this, and they've improved the system. All right? This patient portal system is a dramatic improvement. This is a foot stop. I'm going to stand by for a second. Okay, all right. That was my foot stomp. This is important. Folks, MHS Genesis has been around here since 2017, 1 October. Okay? We're heading into the 18-month mark, and they've changed the portal. But now they're changing things at a week to a monthly basis, so this is a good news story. You could have a 3-digit word for your password, a 3-digit character for your password. No more special characters in 180 days. You can't get that anywhere else but the patient portal. Okay, see the shock? This is important, all right? So please take note and say good things about it, okay, because they're hearing you and they're responding, and if we do, they'll keep improving it for the future. Does that make sense? Okay, next slide. Yes, we love this, all right? So we've got Colonel Lucas, who's planning on being obviously a sniper with some questionable forces with the 50 cal up there. It's really nice. But we do have open access for this for all active duty personnel who want LASIX or PRK, you know, pending they pass the examination and they're a qualified applicant. We do have some capacity for this. Trust me, this is not a message you hear very often when it comes to LASIX or PRK, so please, if you have any kind of desire to kind of get that up to that standard, go for it. Take it from me. Don't wait like I did because I still need, you know, reading glasses. If you get it beforehand, it could stall the reading glass requirement for an additional 5 to 10 years. So that's pretty cool. So please call the number if you'd like to have an operation in that respect. Next slide. It's very quick, very easy nowadays compared to what it used to be. Women's Health Week. A lot of programs. Please check out our social page on this. It's got a lot of documents on there, a lot of stories, a lot of case studies, and a lot of great things to celebrate Women's Health Week, and also to recognize any kind of potential prevention elements that might be pertaining to that community. It's very important for prevention of healthcare related issues and, of course, diet and things like that. So please take an opportunity to take a look at that and hit on our links. And we'll show those at the very end as well, please. Next slide. Mental Health Awareness Month as well. We've got 12 mental health, we got 12, I like to say behavioral health, service lines in Madigan. We have got just about everything you could possibly think of in terms of getting after, whether it's grief, marital strife, PTSD, challenges coming home, resocialization, the whole kit, even financial that causes some of these challenges. It's perfectly okay. There's no stigma related to this. We've got several different avenues of approach, and it's better to ask for help than have to be found past tense, okay, with challenges with this, because it's harder for recovery. So there's a lot of good information that's coming out on this, and I think we need to promote it through the community. Just it's another product line, another service line to help us maintain healthier, better lives, okay? Next slide. Okay, school-based health system. I've talked about this a few times. We're continuing to creep up with this. We need to make sure that folks are getting that message. If you have kids that are in school and they want to get their physicals, they want to get their shots, they want to get sports physicals most likely, that they have a perfect avenue here. All they got to do is make an appointment. They never have to leave the school. So if your kids or you're here from your constituents that your kids are telling you, no, I can't get in, I can't get an appointment, I'd love to hear that because we have capacity there as well, and we can fit them in. The kids don't really like this program. Okay? There's no shock. There's no Olive Garden. There's no shopping all the rest of the afternoon. Colonel P, there's no shopping the rest of the afternoon, all right? The kids remain in school. They go down there for their appointment, boom, they're right back in the classroom. Folks, this is a big deal also for our communities. I learned this myself, I didn't realize this, that they call it butts in seats. I call people holding chairs down. I think I prefer that nomenclature a little bit better. But if you have that people holding chair down all day long in that school, every person in that chair is money that comes back to that school from the district in terms of taxes. All right? If they don't have kids in the school in the seats and they're gone all day at medical appointments, that school actually gets less money at the end of the year from the community. So please encourage the use of this system. It's a great system. It only exists here in Fort Hood, Texas. So take advantage of it. It's awesome. Next slide. Okay, another pause moment. I'll let you read. Yes, it's really happening. Okay, so you can call and get your refills not at the Madigan main pharmacy, which is good because you don't have to order pizza in my pharmacy anymore, right? Because of the wait times. That's a good thing, people. We don't know where to put all these empty pizza boxes. What we need for you is to get your refills at closer to your home. Stop by one of these locations and they will refill it. You call in, they refill it. It's usually a couple days within that week. There are only certain things they don't refill. Compounding drugs and the like, things like that, very complicated things. But for the most part, 90+% they refill. This is a big deal. I only have 1 or 2 pharmacists usually at these locations, but we have capacity, and this is what we want to do to support our community, okay? So please pass that message along. And these are for existing prescriptions only, not renewals, okay? Important connotation. Next slide, please. Our Young Heroes Awards for our kids with special needs, right, is happening actually this Saturday. We're going to have a little presentation for them and a celebration. We've got 12 kids that are going to earn some awards and 2 adolescents, I believe. Is that right? That we're going to recognize, and they're nominated from the community, from families, from friends, and things like that. It's a very special event. It's one of the most heartwarming things you ever saw in your life. And these kids wear these medals actually to their medical appointments, right? I mean, yeah, my hair usually stands on end. Every time I mention it, it's kind of like I got to get to the next slide as quick as I can because it makes my chest tight. But this is a pretty awesome thing, and the courage of these children it's kind of hard to put a threshold on. It's amazing, and it's motivating. You ever think you have challenges in your life, you need to think about what they've been dealing with, and it'll put you in a different state of mind, I can guarantee you. Next slide. And then following Madigan, okay, last slide, following Madigan. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of places you can get these TTPs, but this community forum is one of those ones we depend on quite a bit to pass these messages along. It's very tough to be at all places, right? I got my PAO sending me to the Rotary Club meetings now. You know, I mean, I'm at the Rotary. I couldn't get a Rotary Club if I applied, but I can speak at it apparently, and I share these stories and messages from the community. And I'll tell you, this is very important, very important. And we've got a lot of different avenues, a lot of different approaches, and a lot of different updates at Madigan, and this is a good way to get that information and find out what's happening, what the latest news is. On top of the fact that our soldiers are often now performing at not only at the top of their game, but they're taking it. We've got the best medic, we got the best warrior in the entire Regional Health Command Pacific, just nominated a couple weeks ago. Sorry, ma'am, I've got to put it out publicly. You can tell the boss, yay for this. And we're going to take it for MedCom too, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Because where Madigan goes, there goes the awards, and there goes the ribbons and accolades. Finally, I'd like to end on this note, right? A lot of us are challenged with a lot of trying to be placed at the same time, a lot of stress in our lives, whatever it would be. And I would tell you, take an opportunity and try to enjoy some of the great things also in the community. And I'm not talking just MWR or going to get your eyes dilated before a meeting. I'm talking about spending a little time with family. When I saw this little redhead in here, I thought, oh God, my wife flanked me. She came here with my son. And I would tell you, spending time with them is going to be very, very important. I think we should promote that through our folks as a wellness component as well. And take them fishing. And if you do, bring enough power bait to make sure that you're getting those trout to bite your hook instead of everyone around you. I went through this experience myself. Be glad to talk to you about it and give you some fishing tips. That must mean I really like you. Thank you for your time. What are your questions? Thank you so much.
Good morning. For those of you who haven't met, I'm Buck James. I'm the Director of Plans, Operations, Training, Mobilization, Aviation, and Security. So, the Ministry of Fun will be up here in a few minutes to brief you on all of these items. The only one I want to call to your attention is the Special Olympics of Washington, the Spring Games. This is an annual event that's done here. There are two events. There's the cycling and there's the powerlifting. They are still looking for volunteers if you're interested in helping out with the cycling event. It's a great opportunity to see young men and women who, I won't even say despite their challenges, these folks are athletes and they do some amazing things. It's a really good day to watch. It'll make you, it'll renew your faith in young men and women. Don't get me wrong, I love kids. They stay crunchy in milk, but this is a good opportunity for you to see them in action. Two things I want to make sure everybody understands. It's springtime. Here at Joint Base Lewis McChord, we have some great recreational opportunities. How many folks in here access the Joint Base training areas when they're open for cycle riding, hiking, walking your dogs, pretty much riding your horses, all that kind of stuff? Okay, remember this, okay? Bullets and cougars and bears, oh my, all right? Up on Engineer Bluff, it's a great place for folks to go walk their dog off leash, right? There's folks in here that do that. We have bears, especially this time of year, okay? Pay attention to what you're doing. So there's something I need you to do, okay? Enjoy the recreational activities we have in the training areas on the Joint Base, but have an area access pass, number one. Number two, check the website and make sure where you want to go is actually open for that activity. Again, mostly because of the bullets, because we do a lot of training here, okay? And then pay attention when you're downrange. Okay, so a lot of training, a lot of vehicles, a lot of soldiers, a lot of live fire, a lot of wildlife. We exist right on the edge of the urban wilderness interface. Okay, so we do have large predators and we have smaller predators. Pay attention and be careful. Okay, number one. Number two, please, 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 if you feed your pets outdoors, when they're done, bring the food in. Okay, don't feed the raccoons. Don't feed the coyotes. Don't feed the feral cats, okay? Because they draw in some of the larger predators, okay? And then they draw in the MP. See, it's a circle of life, okay? All right? So I need your help with that so that I don't have black bears hanging out in housing areas, okay? Any questions? Once again, always an undeserved pleasure to be with you here at the Community Update.
Good morning. My name is Arnie Norm. I'm the Education Branch Chief with DPFR. I want to touch on a few things that are going on in our directorate and around involved with us. The first one is this hiring event with Hiring Our Heroes. It is in partnership with the Seattle Mariners. It will be located at the T-Mobile Park. I'm not quite used to that yet, but we'll call it T-Mobile Park. T-Mobile Park, registration starts at 9, and you can see the time for the hiring fair is from 10 to 2 there. You can get more information at hiringourheroes.org events. We already heard it is PCS season. We're starting in PCS season. I wanted to draw some attention to some of our services that we have available, which is through our Relocation Readiness program. Our Relocation Readiness program, obviously, one of their main things they do is the newcomers brief for all the new service members coming to JBLM. But in addition to that, we also do some international multicultural services, which includes some cooking demonstrations, so we can cook and not feed the raccoons some international food, so that'll work well. We also have relocation briefings, so if you're going overseas to Alaska or to different cultural orientations, you can get those also with Relocation Readiness. And then finally, we have sponsorship training that is available, so we can either have you come to our sponsorship training at Waller Hall, or we can bring it on a roadshow out to you and help train your sponsors to make sure we have sponsors for all of the incoming service members that are PCSing during this busy season. Any questions on any of the slides I had up there? All right, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kathy, Directorate of Public Works, Sustainability Outreach Coordinator for the Environmental Division, just talking to you today about some recycling changes that have happened here in Pierce County. So as you can see, some of the items that we used to put in the recycling bin, like shredded paper, now go in the trash. So this is both in your housing, here if you're in Pierce County, so if you're on base, and also at your units. So hard plastics are no longer being accepted at the recycling center. Those are trash, okay? So plant pots, toys, stuff like that, just put that all in the bin. Any sort of milk cartons or juice cartons that wax paper, or any microwaved food, anything with food contamination also goes in the trash. So again, just trying to make sure we recycle right. So things have changed, and if you have any questions, our contact information is at the bottom, or you can always go to Pierce County Solid Waste website. They have a lot of recycling reminders right there too. Next slide, please. It's summer almost here, and we're starting the burn season. So JBLM does prescribe burns to maintain the area for our endangered species. You're going to see some fire and some smoke above JBLM, and just know that that's there purposefully. Weather conditions are closely monitored. There are firefighters on site. So we are doing this to maintain the habitat for our endangered species so we can keep training. If you have any questions, let me know, but you can follow us on the Sustainable JBLM Facebook page. We post every fire, so you can keep track of that. Next slide, please. May is Bike Month. We've got a big promotion. It's called Bike Like the Mountain is Out. If you've been around for a little while, you've seen the big promotions for South Sound Proud. If you're interested in joining a bike team, bike253.com has a lot of different information, or piercetrips.com, and you can hook up with a bike team anywhere from 4 to 12 riders. The Seattle to Portland, the STP, is its 40th anniversary this year, so that's a really great ride, and they're giving away some cool swag. We do have Go Bikes for checkout. Our Go Lewis McChord program has the Go Transit shuttle that you see running around all over from 7 in the morning till 6 p.m., including from 10 to 6 p.m. on the weekends. We also have bikes for checkout at 6 different locations. It's available to anybody 18 and over. You can check it out for up to 2 weeks. So if you or anybody in your unit is here and they're without a vehicle, don't sweat it. We got ways to get you around. So reach out, check out golewismcchord.com, and again, follow the Sustainable JBLM Facebook page. All right, thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning, I'm Beth Wilson. I'm the Division Chief for the Housing Office. I wanted to remind the families and service members that reside in RCI housing on JBLM that on the 23rd of April, you should have received an email from CEL and Associates regarding the residential survey. This is an annual requirement that Headquarter DA requires. The feedback that you all give is extremely important to us. It allows us to see what type of improvements you would like to see in housing, and sometimes procedural changes too for RCI, for the Lincoln partner. We do take the input very seriously. After the survey is completed on the 24th of May, probably about a month or 2 months after, we will get a complete roll-up from the CEL folks. We take that survey, we sit down with Lincoln along with the Garrison commander. We look to see what projects we would like to incorporate into our budget for the out years and capital improvements. So it is important to us. Next slide. So Lincoln is doing some launch parties to get people excited and promote the surveys. They've already completed 2. There's 3 more launch parties, one this evening over at Lewis, Maine, and then there's 2 more on Thursday and Friday. In addition to that, on a weekly basis, they will randomly pull the families' names that have submitted a survey for that week. 5 families will receive a $100 gift card from Visa. At the end of the survey, for every 1,000 surveys that are submitted, a 1-month rent-free will be given to a family. We will do that drawing next month here. So for some reason, if you did not receive an email from CEL and Associates, we ask you to please go to your district office. They will provide you with the data that you need to request the survey. The 24th of May is the deadline. And again, this is a very important thing to us. We look at it. We do take the input from the service members seriously. Any questions? Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Kelly with MWR, and come out. So many things happening in the next few months, and these are just the highlights. This is by no means the end-all, be-all. You need to go to the website, jblmmwr.com, to find out everything that is happening for the next few months. But the highlights are, we have youth soccer coming up. So fall soccer, we're actually registering now. If your kids would like to play fall soccer, we typically field almost 1,000 kids per season, which means we also need coaches. If you would like to coach a team, if you've got the time, or your child plays soccer, would like to have you as a soccer coach, you also get a break on the cost for your child to play. And then coming up on Friday, it's our pre-Cinco de Mayo celebration. It is an Air Force versus Army eating competition at Habanero Mexican Grill. If you have never seen the hump before, it is their famous 6-pound burrito. So if you're super hungry, you can head out there and take part in the competition, or if you have 5 friends who can eat about a pound of burrito apiece, it's a super deal for lunch. And so that's the third from 3 to 7 over at Habanero Mexican Grill. And you got to eat it in an hour or less and keep it down. Coming up at Eagles Pride Golf Course is the 61st Fort Lewis Amateur Tournament, and then the Super Smash Brothers Tournament on the 4th of May. We have an outdoor movie coming up at the Northwest Adventure Center. It's Ralph Breaks the Internet. The Mud Run is coming up. If you haven't registered, that is the 11th of May, and the Better Opportunities for Single Service Member folks are helping volunteer and run that with us this year. We have an open house and yard sale. If you weren't able to go to the flea market this past weekend, at the Fest tent, we have another opportunity for you. If you have some household goods or some things that you would like to sell, we have a yard sale at the Northwest Adventure Center and an open house so that you can see all the things that they do there. Mother's Day brunch, we're taking reservations at the club for Mother's Day brunch right now. The 10 a.m. and the noon seatings are always very popular, so if you can wait till a little bit further in the afternoon, your chances of getting a seat at 2 o'clock are much better. And you need to make advance reservations for that. And then finally, the CG's Golf Scramble heading out toward the 17th of May. Next slide, please. Armed Forces Day. This is our huge celebration where we open the gates and we allow members of the public to come in and see what everybody on base does on a daily basis. We bring all of the equipment out there and have a static display so that kids can climb all over it. We bring entertainers out. Your FRGs and organizations are able to have fundraising booths at the event. There is a carnival. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Please, if you're not working that day, come out and enjoy the event, because you never know what you're going to learn about what goes on. And then we have the reenactors in the field. So they come and they have mock fights. They have a lot of historical information. It's just a great all-around fun event. And then the next slide. So here's what's coming up in June and July. It gets busier and busier as the weather gets warmer. We've got an equipment sale coming up at the MWR supply office. So anything that has depreciated or we no longer need, we sell it off to folks on base. So if you're looking for something, and it covers an entire range of things. So if you're interested, I would definitely stop by. The Sound to Narrow's $12K. We've got a hiring fair. If you've got a family member who would like to be a lifeguard this summer, we've got a hiring fair coming up for our pools. Let's see, the summer reading program at both the JBLM libraries, a bodybuilding championship, and then game night at the pub will be darts on the end of June. Freedom Fest is our 4th of July celebration. The best fireworks display you're going to see in the South Puget Sound on 4th of July is here on base. Folks start staking out their claim to grass on base over by Cowan Stadium around about noon when the event starts. And they just spread out with it's fun to see, but great fireworks. And we open the gates so that the public can come in and celebrate with us. Free UFC fights at those locations. Let's see, running down the Freedom Run, 10-mile, 15K, 1K, and then Latin Night. We've had a very, very popular program on base the last few months is our Latin Night program at Sam Adams Cascade. So that's an opportunity for you to come out. They have dance lessons. They will have a live band, or they've got a great DJ that'll come out. So that's a fun time at Sam Adams. Next slide. So finally, like Mr. Perrineau said, when the weather gets good, we've got some construction that we've got to do at some of our facilities. So the Northwest Adventure Center is going to be closed through tomorrow for inventory. Soldiers Fieldhouse Pool is going to be closed the 4th and 5th of May for staff training. Kimbrough Pool is closed for renovations through the middle of June. And then finally, this is important for folks who use the 24-hour access at Wilson Fitness Center on Lewis North. Wilson Fitness Center will be partially closed for renovations. They're going to close one half to renovations, and they'll move everything over, close the other half for renovations. So it's not completely closed, but the 24-hour access will not be available during the time of that construction. And so that's it's starting the middle of May, and we do not have an end date for that yet. Are there any questions? That's all I've got. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Bea Curl. I'm the Chief of Child and Youth here, and the hot topic on Facebook last night was part day programs, because the memo went out yesterday regarding how we're readjusting our part day programs. One of the things I want to preface it with is that we were placed in a position of having to make some decisions about our programs, because we have a waiting list, and this is just the service members, of about 200 people. And those are people that are needing care within the next 30 days. And we have to look at where are we putting children, and are we serving the folks that are full-time mission essential that have to be out in the field. So we are readjusting where we're going to be doing part day programs. And this summer we're not able to run them because we have 2 buildings right now that are down under construction. And we are trying to get, we'll have a full summer program for the youth at the school age program, and our daycare centers right now are full. And so we have to take some of the classrooms and put them into full day programs to take folks off our extensive waiting list. So, so beginning the 31st of May of this year, end of the school year, we've given our 30 days notice for folks that are in current programs that after their program is over on the 31st of May, programming is over for the summer. There will not be a preschool or Strong Beginnings pre-K program this summer. Patrons who are currently enrolled in part day programs get first priority to be set into the part day programs in the fall. And our directors will be sending out a sheet of paper to all current part day program folks, and they get to sign up by the 15th of May so that we can hold a space for you. We'll begin again the 16th of September, and what we're having to do is go to a school year calendar with this, because we're using the space that the kindergartners use to put our part day programs while they're in school. So if they're on a school out day, we are not able to run the program. I'm hoping after we get the construction completed that this will be something we can lessen up on and actually open up more part-day opportunities. And then we're also moving our school-age programs to Lewis North School-Age Annex, which is right across from Beechwood Elementary School in back of the building. It used to be the youth center. And then also at the brand new McChord 3032. So if there's not room on the Lewis side for part-day programs, there will definitely be room on the McChord side. So don't just limit yourself to one side of the installation. They're both awesome programs. It's the same program. So we'll be offering the part-day programs at a different way this next year. They will be Monday through Friday, but people will still have the options of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. That information is more forthcoming. We will follow the Clover Park School District calendar, and the fees are going to be configured to the new schedule in mind, so they're going to be less than they are this year. So that's a plus. Next slide, please. Oh, I guess you crammed it all into one. Good job. Any questions? Child care, yes, ma'am.
There's a lot of us that are in the part-day program now, and we feel like it's going to be downsized, and we're just kind of wondering who's going to get priority. How are you going to decide who gets into the new program?
First come is the people that are currently in the program, and we have space for that.
Okay, so there's going to be the same number of slots that there are now?
For the folks who are using it now, as we look at how kids graduate, so some of our part-day preschool people will go into the pre-K program, so it works out. But that's why we want to get the information to our current patrons so you know to make the decision to sign up for it now. Okay? You will be given the first priority. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
How many more full-time are you going to be able to add by doing this?
About 80 spaces, which makes me very happy because we're reconfiguring age groups because our biggest need is, I know this isn't a surprise, birth to age 3. And so we want to reconfigure some rooms to get some younger age groups in there to help the waiting list. All right, thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Sergeant Lim. I am the president of the BOSS team for JBLM. So one of the first things we want to touch upon, of course, is community service. One of the bigger things that we want our program to do is to definitely give back to the community. And this month, we were able to help Building 10, which is a veterans transitional home up near Bremerton. We helped out a little bit with sports with their awareness color run, suits for service members, which is, in case anyone doesn't know, they give away 2 free suits to any service member who is leaving the service, retired, ETS, chapter. They are always there to make sure that you will be able to go to your interview and you will look smart, because that is what they deserve after being in the service. We did Easter, which I hope people were able to come out and see, where we gave over about 2,000 bags of candy and no doubt caused a lot of trouble for kids who probably ate way too much candy that day. But none of this was able to happen without our volunteers, and we will accept any volunteers. They don't have to be single, they can be married as well, because we know volunteering is a big thing. Next slide, please. And for what we also do is our rec and leisure events. So we went clam digging out on the west side of Washington by the ocean, and we were able to teach a group of soldiers how to dig for clams and how to clean and cook them. And for Washington, razor clam digging is a big seasonal thing here, and it was great. The clams were huge. People really had a lot of fun with it, and we hope to do it next year when clam season opens up. Next slide, please. And so for May events, as you know, we have Mud Run coming up. So we are still looking for volunteers, and anyone who volunteers with us will get a free run after the race is over. So in case you're kind of on the fence and you want to spend the entire day with us, being safeties, making sure no one gets hurt, and if they do get hurt, calling our medics over to assist them, we're always here. You can just contact us on our Facebook page or talk to us while we're here. We're also having a scuba class. Your single service member will get certified for 60 feet. The only big thing about this scuba class is that it's every day from 6 to 10, Monday through Friday, so they cannot have any sort of CQ or detail. This is something that we're going to have to be working with each soldier or airman to make sure that nothing comes up for them. And then they do 2 free dives on the weekend and they receive their certification. All the equipment, the class, everything that they need is all provided for and is paid for through the BOSS program. It's a really big thing, and we're going to be drawing names today. So if you guys know any single service members, or maybe you yourself are a single service member, we'll love to put your name on the roster and see if you get selected. For our volunteering, we are, again, going back to our suits. We want to support their program and make sure everything that happens seamlessly so people can get what they need. And we're going to be out on Armed Forces Day fundraising. A lot of the events that we do are rec and leisure events. We are able to fundraise and we get support from the community, because without that, we wouldn't really be able to do anything until our Halloween fundraising come through, and that's where a lot of our money comes from. Another thing that is not on the slide is that the BOSS team will be transitioning, and we'll be having a new team come in July, August. So we are looking for motivated and dedicated single Army soldiers for this program. Air Force has their own way of doing it, but we do need 3 to 4 new team members. And if you know any outstanding, young, generally very responsible service member to help us organize new events, make new volunteer events, and continue making our program probably one of the best programs, because we are a joint base, we would like to see some names and see some packets come across our desk for this. Thank you.
Good morning, Chaplain Brandt here. I'm the Garrison chaplain, and just let you know of a couple events that are ongoing, some significant religious holidays this month. First one is Ramadan, that starts the evening of the 5th of May and ends the evening of the 4th of June. So if you have soldier service members that are of the Islamic faith background, you'll be able to support them, and Ramadan Mubarak is a great greeting to share with someone from the Muslim faith background. We do have our Juma prayers every Friday at Evergreen Chapel at 12, so you can let your soldiers, service members know that's a place to pray. There is another holiday that's coming up. I don't have a slide for that, but Buddha's birthday is on the way as well. The 19th of May, Vesak is what it's called, Vesak. We do have a Buddhist chaplain that is here at JBLM, and he'll be celebrating that at Soldiers Chapel on the 19th of May. So that and all of the other religious events that are going on throughout the month. We've got 7 different chapels that are running 45 to 50 different programs every week. So there's a lot going on, but I'll show it. The last slide has our webpage and Facebook information as well. The next big event, next slide, is our prayer breakfast that's coming up. JBLM is hosting our prayer breakfast on the 28th of May. That's at 8 o'clock in the morning at the American Lakes Conference Center, and you can get your tickets through your unit chaplains. The guest speaker is going to be Chaplain retired Jim Carter. He's an endorsing agent with one of our faith groups within the chaplaincy. And that's all I have. Next slide. And those are our addresses on the web and Facebook to get the schedules for any of our services and religious support activities that go on during the week. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ron Lewis. I'm at the Commissary here on post. Starting today through the 4th, McChord is having a sidewalk sale. It's a slimmed down version of what we used to do back in May. The Commissary went down to a smaller version of the K-slot sale. This is what will be held in the store in the warehouse, the next slide. And Lewis will be doing the military appreciation sidewalk sale the 17th through the 20th. It'll be in the back of in the store in the back where the Value Village is in the warehouse. We'll set it up nice, have a lot of nice prices for you. I just wanted to give a tidbit FYI for those who do not know. If you go to commissaries.com, and play with the site. I can't, when you go in there, you can actually pull up what's on sale. All you have to do is be registered through DEERS. It's going to ask you a few questions, your name, your last four, and all that. Once it registers, it actually will show you the prices. It will show you the sale paper that we actually have going on in the sale. So there is a flyer out there, but you have to go through the commissaries.com website to get it. It's not for the outside public, but as service members and retirees and everything, you can see that. Any questions?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Roy Turner with the Exchange. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's go right to the Lewis side of the house. We're having a beauty night out Saturday 4 May, and that starts at 2 o'clock. If you've ever been to one of these events, it's really outstanding, and we want to take care of the female customer and along with the male customer. We are having an Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Celebration starting on 11 May from 1300 to 1500. At both McChord and Lewis, we're having Military Spouse Appreciation Day, Tuesday, 14 May. And as we go forward into the summer season, we're having Retiree Appreciation Day, Friday, 17 May, and that'll be at both Lewis and McChord. Now, we're having a pet show. Last year, we had a pet show at Lewis, and we actually had a snake, we had a horse, and we had a lot of dogs and cats. So you never know what you're going to see at the pet show, and that is starting at Lewis on Saturday, 18 May, 1100 to 11 o'clock to 13, and over at McChord, 1130 to 1400. Bike safety, that's so important during the summer months, and that's coming right around the corner. We're having a bike safety clinic at Lewis, 25 May. It's starting at 11 o'clock. Also at McChord, bike safety clinic starting at 1130 to 1400. If you're looking to keep track of your military star card transactions, if you go to the very bottom, you can go to the App Store, supported by Apple, and now you can keep track of your transactions on your smartphone. That's just another way to keep track of what you're doing. Next slide, please. So now the 5-Star Nutrition is closed, and what we're doing is we're making things bigger and better for you at the GNC store, both at Lewis and McChord. So we wanted to let you know that's coming, and coming soon over to Lewis North. So those are things we're doing to make your nutrition a whole lot better. Next slide, please. Now open, if you're looking for a healthy food alternative, now open Freshen's Food Studio, and it's over at the McChord Food Court. This is really cool because down at the bottom, 100% clean smoothies, juices, rice bowls, salads, wraps, and more. So that's available over at your McChord Food Court. Again, we really thank you, and pending any questions, that's all I have. Have a great day.
Good morning. I'm Jamie Lynn with the Spouses Club. I just have a couple things. Our May luncheon is up. It's next week. We're having Maycation, Tacky Tourist, socks and sandals are okay this day over at the Sam Adams at the Eagles Pride Golf Course. And I just want to throw a couple numbers at you. The Spouses Club year goes May to May, so we're getting ready to wrap up and have a new board switch over. And so really quick, what we do a lot of fundraising throughout the year. We just had Ace Night at the end of April. We brought in just around $30,000. And I want to tell you real quick what we did with that. About $17,200 went out in community grants, or I think the check's going today or tomorrow. And those are to local nonprofits in our community where some of our kids get some services and some of our family members get some services as well. Part of that $17,000, $12,000 and some change went to the Fort Lewis Family Member Scholarship Fund. And we have about $3,500 that went to the Claire Marsh Scholarship. Those are scholarships for spouses that are here at JBLM. We run the largest chapter of Operation Deploy Your Dress, if you don't know that. All DoD cardholders, that's parents and your kids, if you need a prom dress, get one ball gown per calendar year. In the last year, we have given away just around 400 free gowns to our DoD card members here at JBLM. We do have monthly hours posted on our Facebook page, but we can do special unit functions. You just reach out to us, and we'll set that up. If you have a ball coming up, we can do that for you. We have like 8 open board positions that we need. So if you're a spouse or if you know someone that's like, oh, I really need to volunteer more, we really need a webmaster, membership chair, and our event rentals. We need someone. We have got a lot of units that have been accessing our event rentals for your balls. We have the best prices around, FYI. We will have a summer social coming up in June and hoping to schedule a movie night for our spouses in July. And that's all.
Hello, I'm Kelly Blasco, and I'm a psychologist that works at the Connected Health branch for the Defense Health Agency, and we're located at Old Madigan. We used to be called T2, for those that have been around for a while. We build mobile apps, websites, develop podcasts, all to improve the overall health of military service members, spouses, children. And we use a Usability Lab to test those apps. I want to introduce Mr. Jason Wiedemann, who is the lab's project manager.
Thank you, Dr. Blasco. Yeah, my name is Jason Wiedemann. Yeah, go ahead. The Usability Lab has been around for a long time. Back since 2012, we've been trying to make web and mobile apps better for the military community as a whole. You can see a couple of the projects that we've had the privilege of working on here. Military Kids Connect, we're really honored to be part of that project. That's a great resource for military kids and families if you haven't checked it out yet. Breathe to Relax and Virtual Hope Box are also great resources for the active duty military member. And Dr. Blasco is going to share a little bit about that.
I always get the question, what is usability analysis? And it's not bringing thousands of people in to test an app, but you only really need 7 to 9. Next slide. Wanted to give you an example of something that we've used to improve an app. This is our Virtual Hope Box app that is a suicide prevention app and help with positive coping. We brought service members in to see how they were using it. The most important functions were Remind Me and Call. And if you'll notice, Remind Me doesn't look like a button, and the Call, Call Helpline is so small up there that nobody could find it. So we ran service members through it. Next, click next. And we came up with a new design so that service members are able to put things that are reminders of hope for life, pictures, videos, music, so on, and then to have tools to help during those difficult moments. So just as an idea, so you can see kind of the work we do, the Virtual Hope Box has now been downloaded over 550,000 times. So service members that volunteer will make a huge impact for their fellow comrades. So turn it back.
Great. So this can seem a bit conceptual, but what we really need to do our job is for military members to come and sit down with us to test these things, because we need your feedback to make them better. So to get a really good idea of what that looks like coming into the Usability Lab, we have a short animation for you guys to see.
Are you looking for new ways to help out your battle buddies? Come to the Usability Lab and help us evaluate products. We are a part of the Defense Health Agency and provide research for its many divisions. We test products aimed at the military community. As a tester, you'll get to evaluate apps, websites, and other tools designed to support resiliency. Things to help military service members and their families stay healthy and positive. Your honest feedback is one of the most valuable things we can get, and it only takes half an hour of your time. All feedback is private and only used internally by DHA, so tell us what you think. Come participate in a DHA Usability Lab evaluation and help make an idea a reality.
So that's it in a nutshell. It takes 30 minutes to an hour of your time. It's a really fun, unique way to volunteer, and you're really making a big difference down the road for the service members who might use these products. It could be you, it could be a family member or a friend at some point. So let's try and make them better while we can. Right now we're recruiting for 2 projects. One is for Military Kids Connect. So if you are a parent of a child aged 10 to 17 and they want to play around on a website for about 10 minutes and give us some feedback, please let us know. It would be a big help for us. And also a big one, what we're doing, we're supporting a website that's helping active duty members quit smoking. or vaping or chewing tobacco, things like that. So if you're an active duty member and you smoke or use tobacco products or nicotine products, please come back and let us know. We'd love to get your feedback and sit down with you. Thank you so much for your time. Come on and use a website and do a good deed. So thanks, guys. Have a good morning.
All right, next. Is there another slide? Yep. Okay, so, all right, so we covered a lot of material, and before we wrap it up, I do want to just see if there's any more questions. Last chance. You're allowed to ask questions if you want to. Okay, so our next community update is up there on 5 June. As usual, we flip-flop, so we'll be over at the McChord Club for the next community update. There are a couple things I just want to foot stomp before I hand it over to our senior leadership to close us out. So you saw this stuff on Armed Forces Day. If you were here last year, we did Armed Forces Day over on McChord Field on Heritage Hill. This year it's here in Cowan and Memorial Stadium. So we've started this, moving it back and forth across the installation. So it is a really neat opportunity. We do open the post to the outside, but it's also a really neat thing just to bring the kids over and spend some time out there. Really neat, some reenactments, all kind of great stuff all day long. And then, of course, you'll have some service members that are out there helping us run the event, and coming by to visit them is obviously great for them as well. I do want to just remind you on that day, for Armed Forces Day, the traffic from off-post comes in the DuPont gate, so in exit 119, so just keep that in mind for that Saturday. The other thing I want to make sure everyone paid attention to was the housing survey. I don't know if you guys know, we've been doing a lot of stuff with housing. Funny. Not really. So the housing survey, though, if you can please help us spread the message for all residents that live on JBLM to really take the time to fill out that survey. It doesn't take very long, and we really do pay attention to every single input that comes in. So it's going to really help us in this year because we've done a lot with the housing, as you guys know, and especially chain of command involvement and everything. So we really want resident feedback this year. To see whether we move the needle or not with what we've been doing in the last few months. But the other thing that I use this for is we gather that resident feedback and make decisions on what we can do better in housing. So if you don't like your blinds, put it in the survey. If you don't like your sidewalks or whatever it is, all the things that if you think, hey, I wonder if Nicole knows that, put it in the survey too. I mean, please tell me, but put it in the survey and help at FRG meetings, at your unit meetings and stuff. Please spread the word to fill out that survey because the more reps I get on that, ceiling fans, air conditioning, whatever those are, that builds, the book that I use to improve housing across the installation. Last year we were right about 50% participation. We're hoping to be higher than that, especially this year where we've spent so much time with our residents. So please help us spread the word on that. I know some of you really picked up on the changes that we're making with in CYS. That's really about opening more spaces for the folks that need them. But what I would like to do is make sure I arm senior spouses, FRG leaders with what that's about. So any feedback on that would help you, we can put together a little information paper maybe that FRG leaders, senior spouses can have, so you can help be an advocate for me on why we're doing this, what it means, and why it was important to make those changes. I can put that together if that would be helpful. Just let me know that. And then lastly, as we head into PCS season, I just want to put a reminder out for newcomers. Obviously, all new service members to JBLM attend this event, but I also want to make sure everybody knows that we do a spouse portion of that, Army, Air Force, everybody. And if you've missed that, it doesn't matter. You can just come to one of the newcomers, and please spread the word. At the spouse portion of that, we spend some time talking about JBLM, the senior spouses, speak to them. We talk about employment opportunities, we talk about living in the Pacific Northwest, so it's a really good opportunity for spouses. And if they have missed one, they're sort of one they were supposed to go to when they're new, it doesn't matter. send them over to American Lake to join us for that. There's there's all kind of information available there. It's actually not something you just have to go to once, because you might, after you've been here a little while, think, hey, I would like to look for a job, or those kind of things that are all about family readiness. So please remember to spread the word about that in FRG meetings and unit meetings, just to help get the word out. I'd love to see more spouses join us at newcomers, especially as we run into the busy summer season. Okay, so that is it for me. Over to General Graham or Colonel Sainfine. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good month.